guys, it's Sandro here. In today's video is a look at some new detailing or automotive paint lights by TakeNow that I've been testing out over the last few months and wanted to share my thoughts and some information on. Now although TakeNow make quite a few series of lights, the ones I'm going to be focusing on in this video are their Fly 2 Color series, which are by far the best ones for paint correction or detailing applications. And although they can all be purchased separately, they also come in a well-presented metal case kit, which includes their headlamp, the handheld and studio lights, as well as a tripod and all the charging cables and stands in a very clean, robust and handy travelling mobile case. Now, I'll have links in the description box as to where I got them from locally, but you'll have to do an online search if you live internationally, which I'm sure they're also available, and additionally I'll add a link to TakeNow's website if you guys want more in-depth specs and additional information on them. As for the most part, I'm going to be focusing on how these lights perform, my experience with them, and how to get the most out of them in this video. Now what I really like about the TakeNow headlamp is that it's insanely light, coming in at only 90 grams or so, which is a good 40 to 50 grams lighter than most similar detailing headlamps. And as someone who wears them a lot, especially for interior work, you really feel the difference on your head. The strap is also super comfortable and it's got some solid anti-slip grips, so it doesn't move at all, and I also think that it's super lightweight, further helps it to stop sliding due to its minimal weight. It's also got a 60-degree tilt angle, so depending on how you like to position it, even if you wear a cap, you can adjust the light position with lots of flexibility. Another thing to mention is its lighting variations, beams, widths and lumens output, up to a very bright, clean and usable 160 lumens. Now most similar headlamps tend to give you two low and bright settings with two warm and cool Kelvin temperatures. But this lamp actually allows you to choose between three color temperatures, from quite a warm 2700 Kelvins, which is great for lighter white, yellow and silver paints, to a more neutral 4500 Kelvin setting, which is great for most mid-tone reds, greens and blues, to a cooler 6500 Kelvins, great for blacks and darker shades of colors. And while changing to those different color ranges, the brightness will also change from low to mid and bright settings accordingly. Now as a whole, the handheld light will be better for paint correction and illuminating defects, but for a headlamp it's surprisingly good in this area and much better than I would have expected. Now as is the case with many similar detailing headlamps, it also has a hands-free on and off wave sensor which you can activate or disengage. But for the most part, this sensor has been a fail with many previous headlamps, as it's just been way too sensitive and constantly turns the lamp on and off as you move around on its own. Now I'm not going to say that it's 100% perfect on the TakeNow, but it's definitely less sensitive than on any other headlamp I've tried. So I've actually been using this feature with some pretty good success, which is a first for me. Lastly and importantly is the battery life and charging. On a full charge, depending on which brightness setting you're on, I've been getting approximately half a day or 4 to 6 hours out of a full charge. And it's also been able to charge from completely flat to completely full within 3 hours, which is also really impressive. Apart from that, it is a sealed, robust and water-resistant lamp that also seems to resist general detailing chemicals as well, and it can definitely take its fair share of daily use and punishment. As far as cons go, maybe its bright red colour and overall design isn't quite as nice as clean as some others, but I guess that's all subjective. But from a more objective performance and usability perspective, as well as the fact that it's priced about 50% cheaper than its competitors, it's really hard to fault it. Next up is the handheld detailing and colour match torch. Now once again, in comparison to its competitors, it has fairly similar features such as a battery life indicator, adjustable and rotating floor stands, as well as a magnetic base and hanging hook. But in relation to its lighting, it's just like the headlamp in that it gives you that extra third step of Kelvins in temperature, having 2700, 4500 and 6500 Kelvin settings compared to just two separate warm and cool tones. But what's also quite ingenious about those color lighting selections is that the brightness or lumens output automatically adjusts itself with each Kelvin setting. So what you'll find when you're inspecting lighter colors of car paint, such as whites and silvers, is that warmer Kelvin temperatures are better for exposing defects, and that you also need lower lumens or brightness, or else you're just going to flood the paint and mask the defects out. Whereas with darker paints such as blacks is the complete opposite. So cooler Kelvin temperatures as well as increased lumens and brightness is needed to efficiently expose those defects. And this light actually takes that into account to best adjust both its Kelvin and lumen setting between 2700 and 6500 Kelvins and between 250 and 500 lumens, which is actually pretty smart and more so important, works quite amazingly well. Battery life and charging times are also quite similar to the headlamp, because although its battery is about twice as large, you'll also be using about twice as much power with the increased lumens. But from a daily user experience, you can definitely get through a whole day, if not 2 days of use with this lamp, which is without a doubt much better performance than I've had with much more expensive handheld torches in the past. As far as cons go, I'm once again gonna have to say that personally it's not the best looking design, and it would perhaps feel nicer in the hand if it had a slightly softer rubber grip. But taking into account that it's about half the price of some of its competitors, and from a performance perspective it also seems to surpass them, I'll tend to overlook these aesthetics as it's just an amazing torch and value. Thirdly is the detailing and colour match studio light. First up, I'm going to say that as much as I like the headlamp and the handheld, this light is the real gem of the bunch. And it's not about all the features and specs, which I'll get to in a minute, but it's all about how amazingly well it reveals paint defects, which I'll also expand on in a bit. But firstly, it's got 5 colour temperatures from 2700, 3500, 4500, 5500 and 6500 Kelvins. And with all those specific temperatures, you can also illuminate them at 500, 1000 or an extremely bright 2000 lumens in quite a small but extremely powerful 20 watt unit that comes in at just over a kilogram. Now, similar to many other competitive lights, it's also quite robust and a water and chemical resistant unit, which also has a tilt function. But one feature I really like about the Take Now is the quick release mount on the tripod stand. That's a simple but really convenient feature to have. Beyond all these specs and features, what has really impressed me about this light is just how amazing it is at revealing paint defects. Now in my studio, I have several studio detailing lights from several well-known detailing brands. And what I can say is that although they are all good detailing lights, this Take Now studio light is just on a different level in the way that it highlights and exposes defects from lighter swirls to deeper scratches and even haze and micro marring in paint. Maybe it's got something to do with the specific LED that's used in the lamp, but it's just amazing how many more defects I can see in the paint when I use it. I'll also additionally add that it's the brightest 20 watt detailing light that I've ever used, and it will give most larger 50 watt lights a run for their money, which also means that you can use it close to the paint by hand at the lower settings, but also use it quite a few meters away at the brighter settings with great success. The battery life is also quite exceptional, with up to 8 constant hours on the lower setting, 4 hours at the mid brightness setting, and 2 full hours at the extremely bright 2000 lumen setting. And the charging is also about as good as it gets, with a completely flat to full charge in just over 3 hours, which is really amazing, and I think it's got something to do with the unique charging multi-pin connector that seems to charge the large 4500 mAh battery much faster than expected. When you consider all the options that come packed into this light, as well as the performance that it delivers in relation to revealing paint defects, and then compare it to its competitors, and the fact that it's about half the price of many of them, it's just hard to fault it. And I'd be really interested from hearing from anyone who has had or tried one to see if there is some cons about it that I'm missing. Though we should also mention that some of these more expensive detailing lights do also have Bluetooth connectivity, which this one doesn't. Now, just as an additional bonus light by Take Now that I've been playing around with, I decided to include their Group Work Light, which is part of their Flywork series in this review. Now, although this isn't what I consider to be a detailing or automotive specific light, it is one of the most powerful and brightest cordless work lights that I've ever tried, maxing out at a massive 4500 lumens, but also having 750, 1500 and 3000 lumen settings at a 6500 Kelvin temperature. It weighs in at just over 2 kilograms, but about half of that is the massive battery that can go for an amazing constant 13 hours at a time at its lowest setting, and then 7 hours, 3.5 and 2.5 hours depending on your brightness setting. It has a full 360 coverage, so you can really set it in the middle of a large work area, as well as swivel the 2 adjustable lights into your desired placement. But it's just one of those lights that you have to experience to truly appreciate how well it throws so much light into the room for such a small battery-powered unit. So although it's not going to be the best light for spotting defects in automotive paint, it's an absolutely fantastic cordless light for lighting up your work area if the ambient or fixed lights just aren't doing the job. Now for you guys that are familiar with the Magnitude 1 detailing lights, Take Now actually makes them as well. And these new Flycolor 2 series lights are their attempt at making a high-end detailing light, which I think they have succeeded at making by all accounts. I've just been super impressed with these new lights, and also super surprised at the price of them, which is well below what the leading brands are charging. And as far as performance goes, they're definitely going to stir some things up because they just perform exceptionally well. So I just wanted to share these lights with you guys, as they may be a great option to consider for your detailing setup. As always, I really hope you guys enjoyed and found this video useful. Please share this video, like, comment and subscribe to this channel to show support for this content, and I'll see you guys soon.